right, let's rock and roll. So we are, oh, you're doing this already. I don't even need to do that. Okay, boom, boom, boom. I'm going to turn up music. So we're actually going to start, all you need is a mat. And we're going to start right into, well, we'll start with a little bit of jumping jacks just to sort of warm everything up and loosen up the muscles, but then we are going to sort of incorporate, because it's mobility, our warm-up and our cool-down will sort of be incorporated right into the workout itself. So for now, we just sort of want to get the heart rate up just a little bit and basically get the blood moving. Wake up the muscles so that as we move into the stretches, we're feeling pretty good. So this is one of those workouts where we're going to spend quite a bit of time in each exercise, flowing from one to the next. So keep water, coffee, whatever you need nearby. So if you do need to take a pause and take a break, grab a sip, you're good to go. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Into butt kicks. We're just going to start this off so we're ready to go. Alright, so we're into butt kicks. Continuing to warm everything up, loosen everything up. Heels all the way up to the butt, shoulders down, starting to think about posture. Tucking that tailbone under. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Into high kicks. Just start to loosen up the hamstrings here. We're going to start in with inchworms. So good idea to have everything stretched out and ready to go. High kicks for 3, 2, and 1. And then just a couple of knees to chest. Open and drop. Squeeze all the way in. Big open. And drop. Squeeze. Open. And drop. Alright, so you're going to start at the top of your mat. I'm going to face this way just so you can see what I am doing with my feet and knees. But I want you starting at the top of the mat so that when we transition, it's a super easy transition to the next exercise. So we're actually going to start with a little bit of ankle mobility, which is not something that we typically focus in on. What I want you to do is place the right foot just in front of the left, and you're going to sort of trace an outline of that foot. So press forward into the big toe, sort of trace across the toes, down the side and back to the heel, putting as little or as much pressure as feels comfortable to you. Go ahead and reverse direction. So again, just a little bit of mobility here, and really dependent on how comfortable you are putting pressure on the side of the foot. Let's go 3, 2, and 1. Shake it out, left foot in front. And again, you're going to trace the outline. So push into that front toe, cross the toes, and down the side to the back of your heel. Sort of transferring weight forward and back. Just waking up the ankles a little bit here because we are going to do quite a few lunges and planks here. Go ahead and reverse direction. 3, 2, and 1. Again, shake it out. I want you to take just a quarter squat here. So we're going to warm up sort of the knees now. And again, this is something that we don't typically do, but we'll start to add it in a little bit. So I want you to take sort of a quarter squat, just push that butt back a little bit, and you're going to sort of do the same thing, but with your knees. So you're going to sort of trace both feet now, and you're going to have to use the knees to sort of come forward. It's a weird sort of grease chicken dance thing going on. And again, just sort of tracing the outline. Go ahead and reverse direction. And you'll start to feel the glutes activate a little bit as well, but really just thinking about sort of all the tendons and muscles that line the side of the ankles and the knees. 3, 2, And one. All right, shake it out. You're at the top of the mat. Let's dive into the bulk portion of working sets. You're going to take that deep breath in. Push your butt back behind you, and we're going to start with an inchworm. So walk your hands forward to that plank. You're going to do a toe touch. So push the hips up into the air, reach the right hand for the left foot, down to plank. Left hand for the right foot, down to plank, and then I want you back into that inchworm. So walk your hands towards the toes. There's that stretch in the hamstrings. Then right back out into that toe touch. So no rush through any of these exercises. Like I said, we're going to spend quite a bit of time in each movement. Really so you can start to feel the body sort of loosen up, but also so you can lock in core form and not feel like you're sort of rushing from one exercise to the next without getting the full benefit. And what I want you to focus on all the way throughout is really using your core for these movements. So whereas you could sort of just throw the hips up into the air, I really want you to think about sort of bracing the core and pulling up through the belly button. Let's do one more. Wherever you are, go ahead and find that plank hold. And then gently drop your hips to the mat into Cobra. And this is going to be a compound movement again. So we're going to go from Cobra to down dog. So you're going to tuck those toes under. And again, using the core, pull up through the belly button, push the butt back, and into down dog. Hit that stretch nice and slowly here, and then all the way back into Cobra. And again, this is really prime in a combination of mobility and core work if you focus your attention on the core. And drop forward. So what you should start to feel too is that the muscles in your upper body and lower body start to loosen up, so you can get a little bit deeper into each of these stretches as we move through. Up. One more Cobra. And then go ahead and find that straight arm plank again. That's always going to be our reset mode. We're going to start with some alternating lunges. So these are going to be deep lunges from this plank position. You're just going to step that right forward to the outside of the right hand. And then back into high plank. Step the left foot forward. And of course, it does not have to necessarily reach your palm. You just want to get it as far up into that lunge as you can. And again, you'll find that as you sort of move through the set, you'll be able to step forward a little bit further, and sink deeper into that stretch. So most of what we do today is going to be supported by core, but we will have some focus sets as well that sort of leave the mobility piece behind. All right, step it back into high plank. Go ahead and reset. This time when you step forward with the right foot, I want you to step in between your hands. You can take 2 steps if you need to. So that right foot is planted in between your hands. And you're just going to rotate the upper body. So left hand plants to the mat. Open up that right hand and torso to the ceiling. And then back down to the mat and reach for the other side. And what I want you to feel is just the difference in the stretch here. So when you lift that right arm up, you're feeling that stretch through the glute. And then when you reach the left hand for the ceiling, what you're really feeling is the hip flexor. Nice, strong, steady hold over that right foot and alternating side to side. And again, nice and slow here, but we are looking at a lot of endurance, a lot of stamina. All right, both hands on the mat. Go ahead and drop that back knee. And we're going to move into a 90-90. So use your fingertips to gently help you lower your right hip down to the mat. And adjust the body here so that that right foot is at, that right leg is at a 90 degree. And as much as possible, the back leg is well sort of out to the side and back behind you. You can use your fingertips on the mat to help support your hips and level out your shoulders here. But again, we're looking to sort of breathe through the exercises and let the body have a little bit of time to recognize that we want it to loosen up, that we want it to be in this stretch. All we're going to do here is switch of 180. So we're going to be doing a 90-90 with the left foot in front. So how I want you to do that, you're going to open up your hip to the left side, lift up that left knee, push the right foot into the floor, and just rotate the hip so that you're facing 180 degrees in the opposite direction. So now the left leg is in front, the right leg is to the side. And again, use your fingertips to give yourself a little bit of help here to sort of support the levelness of your hips and your shoulders. And certainly important here is your breath too. As you exhale, try to sort of let go of any tension that you're holding on to. All right, we're going to lift back up into that half kneeling position. So both hands on the floor. You're going to lift the hips up, left foot down, right knee down. Hands on either side of that left foot, and go ahead and lift up that back knee. So we're back into a deep lunge position, but this time the left leg is in front. And go ahead and start in with the rotations. So lifting the left hand up to the ceiling, stretch through the glute, and then back down to the mat and over to the other side. Gentle rotations here, so you're just pushing your body to the point where you're feeling the stretch, but it shouldn't be painful. You do want to think about the nice lines here, right? So you want to keep that nice neutral back at all times, shoulders down and back, arms reaching for the ceiling, so creating length. That is the goal here. Let's do one more rotation to each side. Both hands back down to the mat, and go ahead and step it back into high plank. We're going to do our first sort of locked in hold here. Butts down, shoulders over the wrists. At this point, you should really be able to connect with your core. So you should be able to sort of draw those muscles in towards the spine. And really hold tight. All right, we're going to start with a little bit of a rotation here from this plank position. So you're going to keep the left hand planted and go ahead and rotate the whole body to the right side. Open up the torso, lift the right hand to the ceiling. And then back down to the mat, right hand plants, lift that left arm up and rotate to the left. So finding that sort of side plank position. And again, taking it nice and slowly here, as slow as you need to feel in control of each movement. And obviously, as the body gets tired, that gets a little bit more difficult, but hang strong. Let's go one more rotation to each side. To the front. And then once you're back in high plank position, go ahead and drop the knees to the mat. And go ahead and sit back in child's pose. Give those shoulders just a little bit of a rest here. All right, pull back up onto all fours. We're going to do a little stretching of the spine. So tuck the chin, take a deep breath in and round back up to the ceiling. We're going cat-cow, just to stretch things back out and give the rest a little bit of a break. Exhale, lift the chin, push the belly button down towards the mat. And just move in between these two positions, gently and in control. Let's go one more cat in cow. And then go ahead and find neutral. We're going to get a little shoulder mobility in here. So what you're going to do is lift up that right hand, and you're going to sort of reach underneath the belly button, dropping the right shoulder to the mat. And then push it back up into all fours, and the left hand reaches. So we're getting a little bit of shoulder and a little bit of upper back mobility in. This whole time, I want you to keep a nice neutral back, and the core stays engaged. You'll find that it becomes easier to hold on to really great posture the tighter your core is. Let's go one more to each side. Back up and a quick child's pose just to stretch the shoulders out for 4, 3, 2, and 1. All right, back up onto all fours. Let's get a little bit of core work in here. Go ahead and lift the knees just up off the ground. So we're in that bear crawl position. Hold for 4, 3, 2, and now I want you to push the hips up into down dog. So straighten the legs, hips up. Quick stretch in there, and then back to that bear crawl position. So never dropping the knees to the mat. You always want to hit that hold. Another down dog. Push the hips up. And back to the center. Knees hovering just over the mat here. Let's go ahead and get one more down dog in. Back to bear crawl and hold. 3, 2, and 1. Knees down. Still focusing on core. We're going to go into some side planks here. So the right elbow's on the mat to start us off. Feet straight out from the body. Go ahead and lift up into that hold. So we're going to do some really focused work on core. So that's abs, that's glutes, and lower back here right now. Hold high. 3, 2, go ahead and rotate to the center, elbow plank hold. So there'll be a couple of these holds throughout. Again, we're looking at this as sort of our reset position. Keep the butt down. Now your shoulders are over your elbows. Take a deep breath in and go ahead and rotate to the left side. I'm just going to turn it so I can see the screen. But so we're over to the left side in that side plank position. Hips up nice and high. You're looking for straight lines here. So everything that we talked about before still applies, like that neutral back, that tight core, those straight lines creating length. It gets a bit more difficult in these holds. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Go ahead and hips down. And rotate it so that you're sitting. We're moving into a reverse plank here. So you want your butt on the ground, heels on the ground, hands behind you, and fingertips facing forward. And you're just going to go ahead, tighten the abs, and lift the butt up off the floor into a reverse plank here. Hold the hips nice and high, lock in that form. It's a different kind of ab hold here. And we're going to start to do some sit downs. It's exactly what you think it is. You're going to draw the hips down, tap the hips down to the mat, and then right back up into that hold. And we're going to be here for a little bit. So this is really sort of a little bit of a burnout challenge. I want you to take it as slow as you can. Pausing at the top of every reverse plank hold. And you want to keep the lower back nice and straight. The core super, super tight here so that your form stays on point. Back down. Up to the top. Hips down. Let's do one more tap down. And then back up into that reverse plank and hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Drop the butt to the mat. Just do a quick release of all tension. Still focusing on core here. So what I want you to do is lean back, lift the heels up off the floor, and we're just going to be in a boat hold here. So you want to find a little bit of space between your upper body and your legs. And we're just going to find that hold and add in some dynamic movement in 10 seconds. Take a deep breath in. We're going to add a jackknife. So all you're going to do is slide those heels out across the mat, drop your torso a little bit, and back up into that hold. Open and hold. All the way through. Make sure you're taking deep breaths through this entire series. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Heels to the mat. Sit up nice and tall just for a brief break. And then we're back into a couple of side planks to really just lock in core. So left hand starts on the mat and lift up to the ceiling. Lock in that straight line. And if you can, take that right hand and you're just going to lower nice and straight to the mat. And then right back up to the ceiling as straight as you can and without moving the rest of your body. So this is all about that shoulder rotation. Super gentle. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Hips to the mat and switch over to that right side. Elbows down, lift the hips and reach. And again, if it's comfortable for you, if you can lock in that form, bring the left hand down to the mat nice and straight and right back up to the ceiling. And again, nothing else moves, right? So the chest doesn't follow suit, the torso's not rotating. Down. 3, and up. 2, and up. Let's do one more. Reach down, tap, and back up. Hips down, turn it to the center. We've got one more elbow plank hold here. Is it one more? It could be lying, I'm not sure. But we're going to lock in that hold. Keep your butt low, draw your belly button in towards the spine. We're going to move from an ab focus to a glute focus here. We have about 15 seconds of this hold left, so if you need to close your mind, just lock in that form. Try to hold all the way through. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Knees down, hold on to that elbow plank. Straighten that right leg out behind you, and you're just going to do straight leg lifts. So elbows are on the mat. Your back is nice and straight, your core is tight, and that right toe taps down, and then the heel pushes right up through the ceiling. We're going to hit those glutes a little bit here. 3, 2, I want you to pause at the top of the kick and push. So these are little pulses, 2 inches up, 2 inches down. We're going to hit the glutes. Remember this moment, again, you want to pull the abs in and keep the back nice and straight. Even if it means you have to pull your leg down a little bit, that's okay, because this means it's really focused on the glute and not just the heart. Get ready for a 3-point tap. So you're going to tap your foot down to the mat, up, arc over the left heel, and down to the outside of that foot. Back to the center. Tap down to the outside of your left foot and back to the center. This is going to be a no break transition over to that left side, but by this point, you're probably ready for that break anyways. Hold strong for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Right leg in. Stretch that left leg out and start with those straight leg lifts. So again, locking in form here. If you feel like it's a little difficult to get rid of the arch in the lower back, think about tilting the tailbone under from down towards the mat. Help a little bit to straighten that back out. We've got 10 seconds before we draw in the pulse. 3, 2, and 1. Lift and pulses here. Little pulses. Flex that foot. Keep the heel nice and high here. We're going 2 inches up, 2 inches down. 10 10 seconds to go, and then we're going to add in that 3-point touchdown. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Toes down. Lift up over the right heel. Tap down to the outside of the mat. All the way through it here. Our next exercise is still going to work core, still going to work legs, but we're going to work a little bit of mobility back in to the exercises, so we'll get a little bit of a stretch. 10 seconds. 4, 3, 2, and 1. All right, draw that knee back into the mat. Straighten out those arms. So we're back to all fours, and then lift those knees just up off the mat, back into that bear crawl position. We're going to move between bear crawl and downward dog. So again, take your time, super slow and controlled. Straighten the legs, hips up, down dog. Feel that stretch through the hamstrings. That should feel so good at this point. And then draw the knees back down towards the mat, but never tapping down. And again, just move your pace between these two exercises. Still working the legs, like I said, but working that mobility back in and finding that stretch through the hamstrings that we so wanted after those kickbacks. Tight core all the way through. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Drop the knees all the way to the mat and sit back in child's pose for a quick stretch break. We're going to add in a little rotation. So go ahead and place your left hand on top of your right hand in child's pose and sort of lean into that right shoulder. So a little bit of a rotation from child's pose. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Straighten it up. And then place the right hand on top of the left. And again, lean into that left shoulder. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Straighten everything back out. Big stretch here. And then pull your body upright again. This time you're going to step it out into a high plank again. So let's step it out. Lock in that hold. We have a bit of a plank challenge here. What I want you to do is alternate tapping the knee to the ground. So the right taps down, and then back to straight, the left taps down. You don't want any movement from the upper part of your body. So the torso is locked in. And what you should start to feel, because we're alternating, you can actually feel the muscles sort of moving to adjust. Really having to lock in that core strength. Let's go 3, 2, and 1. Back into that high plank hold. We're going to add in a bit of a down dog here. So go ahead and lift the hips up, push back behind you, and find down dog. You can think of that as a little bit of a break from the plank hold. Draw it forward again, right into plank. And again, move at your pace here between plank hold and down dog. There's the stretch, and there's the core. So we're adding everything gently back in here. And draw it in. We're going to spend a little bit more time here, really to lock in that core burn. Let's do one more down dog, and then let's lock in that core, that plank again. Hip reset. Here we go. Lock in plank. We're going to transition back into those deep lunges. So what you'll find this time through is that you can step a little bit deeper into the lunge. So let's start on the right side. Step it forward. Transfer your weight to that heel. Give the wrist a little bit of a break. And then step it back into high plank. Left foot forward. And step it back. Rotating side to side here. Starting to give the core a little bit of a break. Draw in the lower body a little bit more. So again, you want to make sure that as you step forward, you're really letting a lot of your body weight settle over that right or left heel and give the wrist a little bit of a break. Let's go one more each side. All right, find high plank for another 10-second hold. Go ahead and step that right foot forward again, this time in between your hands. And all I want you to do is press your body weight forward into that heel, into that stretch, and hold. Again, transferring plenty of weight to the heel, so it's taking a little bit of a break for your wrist. Go ahead and drop the back knee. And you're going to sit back over that knee. So straighten the right leg and sit your body back, sit your butt back over that left knee. The stretch transfers to the right leg. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Bend the right knee, bring it forward, lift up that back knee, and step back out into high plank. Let's lock in that hold for another 10 seconds. Go ahead and step the left foot forward. Bend the left knee, and you're just going to gently shift the body weight towards that front heel and stretch through that back hip flexor. Deep breath in. Go ahead and drop that back knee and sit your butt back over the knee, straightening the front leg and shifting the stretch to the front hamstring. All right, go ahead and bend that front knee, lift that back knee up off the ground, step it back into plank. Let's get another hold in here. Ten seconds. And then we're going to start with that inchworm. In 3, 2, and 1. Up through the belly button. Walk the hands towards the toes. Tap, and then right back out to that high plank. And again, you should have much more control over your core, over these movements, right? This time through, because you feel the core. You've been using it for the past, well, however long this workout is. I don't know what time it is, but so you want to feel like you're almost pulling from a string up from the belly button up to the ceiling, and that's what initiates this movement. Almost there. Up to the toes. Walk it right back down. Stick with it. Taking your time. All right, find that plank. Next time that you walk your hands up to your toes, I want you to stay in that forward fold position. I'm going to just hop it forward so you can see me. So we're in a forward fold now. Hands by the toes. You should feel like you're a little bit deeper into this stretch than maybe you normally are. If you can tuck your fingertips just under the toes, go ahead and do that. And you're going to bend at the knees, drop the hips, and lift the chest. So you're in sort of a deep frogger squat. Take a deep breath and straighten the legs back into that forward fold. And just move gently between those two positions. Again, your pace only. Don't rush it. So you're down into that frogger squat. The knees bend, the butt drops down, and your chest lifts nice and tall. And then straighten it back up into that forward fold. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Back into that forward fold. Fingertips on the ground. And go ahead and take a step out to the side. 1 and 2, so you're in a wider straddle here. Walk the hands over to the right side. And again, you're going to drop the butt down. Bend at the knee and lift the chest, but this time your whole body, minus your left leg, is over the right foot. Go ahead and straighten that right leg, walk the hands over to the left side. And again, bend at the knee, drop the butt, lift the chest. And you're sort of half frog or squatting over the left side. Kozak Lunge is what it's called. Go ahead and straighten both legs, walk the hands back to the center. And I want you to take a deep breath in, and as you exhale, let your body just sink deeper into that stretch. Releasing tension from the lower back, from the shoulders, from the neck. Go ahead and walk the heels in, toes, heels and toes, all the way to the center, back in the forward fold, and gently roll those shoulders up to the ceiling and big shoulder rolls back behind you. And then shake everything out and grab some water because mobility is